Steve, welcome to my workshop and to Fenric Wood Stuff.
So just a few things to do, because these do protrude and they're designed to protrude, but I just need to soften up the edges, so we'll have a go at that.
To soften these edges, I'm just using a fine rasp and then finishing it off with some sandpaper, just going through the grits really, finishing off with 220, something like that. So a quick dry fit, and that's what it looks like. Seems okay to me.
So I've just created this template. I'm going to go on the router again, and we're making the supports on the legs for the arms. I think they're called corbels, I think. Anyway, I've just selected a particular size, and I've used sort of French curves here just to draw it out, cut it out on my bandsaw onto the drum sander really, just to finish it off. So more piece of oak, and then just going to mark that out, cut near the line on the bandsaw, and then off to the router table.
Just some double-sided tape onto the template, and then stick that to the piece of timber. Then with the pattern bit in the router table, just cut the corbel to the template shape.
Well, I've dry assembled it all, and I've clamped the corbels in place. As you'll see, the front one is not really a problem, because that's the first 150 milli or so of that is actually flat, and then it just curves off. The back corbel is sitting up a bit strange, so I'm going to have to angle the end of it. I'm going to use that, I'm going to scribe it in, to be honest. Well, that's it. All the parts are complete. So now it's getting ready for finishing. So it's just smoothing all the various components and putting a little round over on them and the likes over. So I'm actually going to use my 4.5 smoothing plane that I just got. You'd have probably seen the review. If not, have a look. It's just a quick and dirty, and I'll just give my honest opinion about it. Anyway, let's crack on. You can see there's a real ding in there, so I'm going to try and get it out. So what I'm going to do is just put a bit of moisture in there, let it sit for a minute or so, and then go over it with an iron. To be honest, it's virtually disappeared. What I'll do, I'll give this a sand, and then we'll come back to have a look at it. And that, my friends, is magic. The dent has disappeared. So the grain on this piece is all over the place, so it's not that straightforward to plane, because you get half of it tear out and half it's okay, so it's down to the sander. So as usual with me, I just put some white pencil marks on, and then sand until I can't see them anymore. Just using a 6" with 120 grit. Be good enough. And there's another dink there. Dink on the other side. Blimey. Right. We'll just repair that in the same old way. First get some water. I think I must have been rough with these when I've been moving them around. It has been hanging around the workshop for a while, I've got to admit. That trick really works well on oak. Probably because it's open grained. Right, so we'll just give it another sanding. It's a bit more magic.
Now just finishing off all the sharp corners, just running them either through the router table or with a router, or just with a bit of rub with some sandpaper. So once all the sanding and the knocking the corners off is complete, it's time to glue. So it's glue up time.
So I'm just taping some package coals so I don't damage the timber. We'll get a couple of clamps on and see how it goes.
So the final thing to make is the base, and it's going to be like a sprung seat, but I'm going to use jute webbing. Here I'm cutting some birch ply, and this is going to make the frame. I'm ripping it to width on the table saw and then to length on the mitre saw. The joinery I'm going to use is going to be half lap, so I'm lucky enough to have a radial arm saw that takes a stacked dado cutter, so I'm just using that basically just to make the half lap. So once all the pieces are cut, just give them a light sanding, then glue and clamp. Camera run out here, so there's no video of the clamping. Once the glue's dried, then just release it from the clamps and just put in a round over along all the sharp edges, external and internal, both sides. Then I just need to notch out each of the corner on the bandsaw. This is so they'll go around just the corners of the legs where then finally I'm screwing some rails to the front and the back, and this is where the frame will sit on. And with the seat frame clamped to the rails at the front and the rear, I then just add the side rails. So as said earlier, this is going to be a sprung seat, so we're using jute webbing for this. So first thing with the webbing, I've cut it to length. Now I'm actually just sort of stretching it over the corner of the bench just to ensure it doesn't sag when I fit it. Then just with a staple gun, I'm fixing it in place at one end. There's I think there's about half a dozen staples or 8 staples in the end I do. I just turn it over and should hold it. They're 10mm staples, so there should be plenty to hold. So when I'm pulling the tension, I just grab hold of it with some pliers, give it a pull, and then once again in with the staples.
So here we are putting the webbing on for the seat. You've just seen how we've done that. Well, I'm just now going to lattice work some across there. So what I start off with, I actually just mark out about where I want to start, and then just with the framing square, basically just transfer the marks up here, so keep them sort of parallel and square. So just using the electric staple gun and some 3/8 or 10mm staples. There's half a dozen in each end. I might go around and put a bit more in, and you see, try and put tension on. Oh, we'll crack on. First I just need to give them a bit of a stretch. I just do that over the corner of the bench. and that's supposed to stop any sagging. Well, we'll see.
Now just feeding them through to create the lattice work, alternate up and overs and under and overs. So the lattice work's all done. I'm just going around with a pin hammer just to ensure that the staples are fully seated. And now that's it. So the only thing to do now is to apply a finish.
Well, it's finish time, so it's the finish is going to be Danish oil. So I'm going to apply it with the foam brush, wipe it off with a lint-free cloth. But before we start, I've got tack cloth, so I've got to tack cloth everything. Of course, it's such a big piece. I'm just going to approach this. I'm just going to do the inside bits that you don't see in terms of putting the finish on. I've given it a little bit of a tack cloth. So I've given it a full tack cloth, and then now I'm just going to apply the Danish oil. Once again, just leave it 15-20 minutes and then wipe off any excess oil.
So here's a few photos of the chair in its final resting place with the cushions. I actually got these cushions via Amazon, and they were made to measure because it's such a oddball size. Anyway, I think it'll do for me. I just thought I'd share this little bit of information with regards to building the Morris chair. I started this project. I started with these 7 oak boards, and I ended up with 1 oak board left and these offcuts. So hopefully with these offcuts we can concentrate on the footstool, which will be the next project. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.